Yo.
Look at this guy.
Guess where I am?
Goshen, New York.
Goshen, New York. Upstate New York.
Center of the world. Not really at all.
Yeah, my first time here. First time in New York. Some people might say that New York City is the center of the world.
Yes. So close enough. 1 hour north of that. So in its hemisphere.
Yeah, we haven't spent too much time there. I think neither one of us has a proclivity for the hyper-urban areas, and New York is the hyperest of all the urbanist areas on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically we got out of JFK as soon as we could, and I said hello to the Empire State Building on the way out, and yeah, that was my experience of New York City. But now we've been enjoying the.
It is worth the trip. Maybe one time we'll head out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, another time. We've had a lot to do this week.
We gotta get your feet planted in grass first and dirt and mud.
Yes.
Before we venture into the concrete jungle. Gotta remember where we come from before we venture into the matrix of it all.
Yes.
The belly of the beast.
For sure. Yeah, I've found this place to be a good place to remember where we came from. There's actually, the land is kind of immense out here. There's some mountains. I didn't really know that much about upstate New York before I came here. Like a lot of people from the Midwest, probably, you think that when you think of New York, you only think of New York City.
I wouldn't know.
It's like being when you're from Illinois, and I've said this before, like you're from Illinois, and you tell somebody that, and they're like, "Oh, you're from Chicago." It's like, no, there's other places in Illinois. There's not just Chicago. Yeah. It's probably the same way for.
All New Yorkers that come from the city, they think of the city, and then anything outside of the city is considered upstate. Anything.
Even an hour north.
Even Goshen.
Yeah, but it's beautiful up here. And
it is. It's been a good summer, a lot of rain, the greenery's sticking around. It's very lush.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of rain.
Son of a bitch for 2 straight days.
But it's a treat at the same time, right? Creates a sense of adventure.
Yeah, it does. It added a serious epicness to the adventure that we were already going on. Yeah. So the hike on Tuesday.
Jeez, I already forgot about it.
Man, bro, that we had, it was already like a pretty ambitious plan. We're gonna hike in the Catskills, or close to the Catskills area, overlook mountain, and then we're gonna go to this cabin in that region, in that mountainous region, to have a journey and stay up there. And
journey.
That's what we're here to talk about, my friend. A journey aided by mushrooms.
Yes. No mushrooms. What kind of mushrooms do we say? Psilocybin mushrooms. Buttons of joy and love.
Yeah. Little hearts of joy and love, I would say.
So, as maybe this already is alluding to, we are advocates for psychedelics and exploring consciousness in all the ways possible. This was your first trip, more or less. I mean, you explored a little bit, but this was your first real relationship that it started. Well, the real trip of the real experience of taking a full dose of mushrooms.
Yeah, that's right. So a little bit of a backstory. Actually, both of my profound psychedelic experiences have come in your company. A few years ago, we did ayahuasca, and I kind of like went big on my first psychedelic. Yeah, but the time was right for that, and we found a really great place, really intimate ceremony.
Was a perfect first.
Yeah, Casa de la Luz in Costa Rica. Great place, great facilitator, Andres. But yeah, that was my first one, and then in the interim between those few years ago and now, I just had a small experiment with mushrooms.
That's
Actually,
quite
very
a long time ago. It was 5
it was
years.
5 years ago. Yeah, man. So yeah, I went for that big experience, and then I put it down for a while, and now was called to do it again. Again, it's being around you. It's you've got a great energy around this stuff. You've experienced it, and it's I feel like you're very good at facilitating it for me. There's a lot of safety, and I feel very open to share what I'm going through. So that's part of the reason why I was open to do it again.
Nice.
And go on that. So.
I think that's a good point to talk about just briefly is when you go on a psychedelic journey, it's very important who you're doing it with and the setting you're in for it.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there might be talking about negative experiences or dark sides of psychedelics, and not to downplay that, it exists, but it comes from a personal experience that isn't universal. You know, everyone has their own experiences, and the experiences that we have on these journeys are very, very much aligned with what we need in the moment. So if you do have a bad experience, a dark experience, it's a place to learn something from. There's teachings there. I've had a few, not too many. I mean, most of my experiences have been light, loving, and joyful, especially on mushrooms. So because I've developed this relationship with it, and I've done it enough solo too. When you do it alone, I mean, that really forges the relationship. Doing it in a social setting, it's kind of like drinking alcohol or any other experience in life. Anything you do alone really it really gets into the deepest parts of you.
Yeah.
And you're really able to check out all the darkest corners of the room. So yeah, I've been called to it for a long time now, and I love being able to share it with other people and teach them and show them there's nothing to be afraid of. It's entering just a different state of consciousness for a relatively short amount of time, considering the length of time we spend on this planet. And even if it's just one time in life, I think everyone should experience it. So I'm glad you had an awesome experience. It's like, how do you did ayahuasca and you had this experience. How do you compare the two?
Yeah. So ayahuasca, just from a kind of ceremonial point of view, we did it with a very structured ceremony with Andres. I think it was like 5 or 6 people, and one of them was another facilitator. But with ayahuasca, obviously the taste is very intense.
Yes.
Like actually drinking the ayahuasca brew, if you don't know what it is, the materials from nature are ground and heated and made into a drink. They're made into a brew, and there's different brews, different people vary it a little bit, but there's quite a universal experience that it tastes pretty freaking bad, and it's very strong. So yeah, the taste with the ayahuasca is overwhelming. It does take, at least what the brew that we took and how we did it, it took quite a while to set in.
Yeah.
And it's,
the first night we didn't have it like an experience with it, right?
No,
I don't
we
know if you did.
we
I
didn't.
didn't,
Yeah, that's another defining feature of it, is that we took it 3 times over the course of 3 or 4 nights. I don't think we had a night off. I think it was three times consecutively.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But some people do. They take it 2 nights. They have a night off, and then they do a third. But yeah, ayahuasca is generally like a multi-day ceremony to have this relationship with this plant medicine, and it takes a while to kick in. Just in one session, you do the experience primarily with your eyes closed. You're lying down, and it might take an hour before you experience anything, or you might have it the first night and not experience anything. kind of like we did the first time.
And that's like with any, well, I shouldn't say any, I don't know if that would happen like Bufo or something like that, but most psychedelics, like specifically mushrooms and ayahuasca, I've had those experiences where you can take a high dose and you might not experience anything, and I've seen other people have that as well. So to me, that's just like even a deeper sign of how maybe intelligent this stuff is.
Yeah, agreed. That's so talking about comparing the two just from my experience, I would say that I would start with the similarities, that there's a lot of peace and joy. This is my experience, just talking about what I felt. The body gets very deeply relaxed, and you're having a sensation of leaving the body and exploring another part of consciousness. I would say even like another realm of reality that's existing in parallel with this reality. It's not really separate. I don't feel like I'm leaving reality. I'm just exploring a whole different part of reality. And I experience that with both.
Okay. Yeah. Because a lot of people, or I shouldn't say a lot, some people do actually experience a departure from this realm, where it is you entering a whole different universe, whole different structure of reality. Like you said, for you, it was like a blend between the two. It was just like a different, being able to experience different aspects of this reality that we don't actually see in our normal waking life, or feel or experience internally.
Yes, that's the sense that I got. I will say that I did feel very, in both instances, I did feel very far away from what I would consider normal waking reality. So I feel like it's another side to the same reality that we're living in. You can have a very deep experience that feels quite far removed from normal
so
waking
when you
consciousness.
closed your eyes,
Yes.
you were essentially going into maybe that sort of different, far out world.
Yes, I have a very visual experience. I had that even more with mushrooms than I did on ayahuasca. It was even more vivid for me and just really all-encompassing. And I would say I felt very safe in the ayahuasca ceremony, and I was relaxing into it. But I reached a new level with this journey that we had on Tuesday night. And part of that was interfacing with you. That was actually why I was able to go deeper, because we were talking about that fear, and I get this very sleepy sensation, and I've had that with THC, with weed as well, where these kinds of substances, I know there's a big difference between these substances, but something about them generally puts me in a very sleepy state. And I was afraid to investigate that. I was afraid that something bad might happen to me if I was falling asleep. And maybe some other people feel that way as well, if you're like me, and it has that effect on you. But we were talking about that, and you just encouraged me, not pushing, to just investigate that and see what happens. You were like, I'm here for you. Like, if anything happens, you're not alone. Like, it's not, don't worry, you can say if you need help, if you need to share anything. So I decided to go for it. I decided to just follow that sensation and lie down and just let it take me where it was going to take me. And I really surrendered to that feeling. And you kind of called it that, no, you won't fall asleep. And you were right. I was shocked that I didn't. I thought that I would really. It does, but it was more like a very deep trance state, where I was seeing all of these such vivid images and such amazing imagery. It's very hard for me to put it into words. At one point I was trying to draw and explain it to you, and that part was clunky.
Those images for the rest of life.
Yeah, as we should. Yeah, it's very, very clunky, but the internal experience was magical, very deep.
And you were having like actual visuals of like how do I describe it? Like sceneries and like specific. It wasn't geometric. Is what I'm trying to say.
No,
Which
no.
just tends to be what most people might see. These were like actual like scenes and abstract images that didn't have pattern to them.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, not geometric patterns, not like something, not like an abstract mathematical thing. It was more like I'm seeing a person of like this snake lady that I saw that's like taking in this like almost like this beam of fire, but it's like experience, and that's what I was seeing. It was so vivid and so real to me that it was just undeniable, and it felt inherently meaningful for me. Like we were talking about, I didn't get the sense that there was like a metaphorical meaning, that it was somehow pertaining to the experience that I was having in life right now. And at the same time, I felt that it had a kind of inherent meaning. And there was a reason why I was seeing that image, because it was so vivid and just carried that inherent meaning that I didn't necessarily have to decode it or understand, even though part of me wanted to.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was just marveling at it.
So I mean, I actually connected value to it for my life, myself, because snakes have come up in my journeys quite a bit. That's actually why I got my snake tattoos. One of the very profound mushroom journey I had. So whenever I have, or someone else has, snakes comes through during a psychedelic experience, I relate to it in some way. So what came through for you, I don't know, I felt like it resonated with my life a little bit, and there was a message there for me. That's why I felt like your sort of the gifts that were being given to you through the visions may be for others as well.
Yeah,
You know?
I think that's true. We're both taking the medicine and we're both feeling very open. We already have a connection and we shared some life experience. We've known each other these years, and we've gone on some rides. So wouldn't be surprising to me that in that space there's an experience that's shared, that I'm channeling something that's coming from you, relating to you. It's not surprising at all.
Yeah. What else you got, like, what else could you say about your first mushroom experience, like for older Jeff down the road to look back at, and then once he's had multiple under his belt?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. First, to someone who's like me, who might have some fears, some legitimate fears about taking this stuff, some fears that feel legitimate. You can take the experience as deep as you want to take it. You can start with a low dose. I did a low dose before we came here. And on the other hand, I would say it's best to go for the full journey. It's best to go for, with mushrooms, you can say a heroic dose, 3 grams. And when you have the right set and setting, you're not going to lose your mind. You're not going to feel totally out of control. I don't want to make a blanket statement. People will have different experiences. It's really more of a microcosm of the experience that we're having in life. There's a great quote from Eckhart Tolle. I think it's from his book, A New Earth, where he says, "How do I know that the experience that I'm having is the one that I need in order to grow? Because it's the experience I am having right now." Like, life gives us the experience that we need to have. And I believe that plant medicine is a facilitator of the experience of life. I do think it's a medicine, and it's here to guide us in our journey. So I had quite some fears about getting into this, and that's one of the reasons why I hesitated to try mushrooms. But in the end, I was believing that there's a depth of experience that can be accessed through this that's worthwhile. So don't let fear stop you from experiencing it at least once. Try it at least once and see what it does for you. There's a depth on the other side of it that's so meaningful and beautiful. These words are coming from a guy who once would never have tried these things, who once thought that they were dangerous and potentially harmful and that they should. Yeah, so but we've met, and we met in the middle at the cabin, and we were both doing it even though we came from different places. As for the other side of it, for future Jeff, I'm gonna watch this video. Future Jeff, you're gonna watch this video, man. So you're gonna see these words. This message is for you. So there's nothing like the first time. Now you have a relationship with it. So go deeper with it. Explore it even more deeply. Do it alone. Also go on a heroic journey alone and really develop a singular relationship, a personal relationship with the medicine. Gotta try that, and just continue to do it through time, because it's something that evolves with your experience of life. I believe that.
The experience on psychedelics?
Yes. Yes, that it's something that I believe that, and you can speak more to this. I'd like to hear your thoughts about this, that it's something that can be good to do it at various phases in life along the journey. It helps you check in with your experience where you are. It helped me check in with my experience right now where I am, and I'm certain that in 30 years it will help me check in with wherever I am then.
Yeah, it's probably the quickest way to break the frame, change the pattern of our life in such a short amount of time. When you go into these experiences, you have to be open-minded about change first and foremost. Change is inevitable in life, of course, but we all sort of have hesitation towards change. And it's really the essence of life, is to change. Growth only comes through change. When you stop changing, death is inevitable. It's the only outcome. It's the opposite, essentially. When a tree stops growing, which is literally changing its size year in and year out, it begins to die. It won't survive. The other trees that are growing will grow taller and create shade around it and so forth, and then it won't be able to get its sustenance anymore, and reach towards the light. But anyway, with psychedelics for lifetime use, I mean, to me, it's a fundamental part of being human to continue to explore these realms. With Andreas from, what's it called?
From Costa Rica, Casa de la Luz.
Casa de la Luz. So he was the first shaman I really worked with, and he just gave the simple advice of doing ayahuasca once a year. And I've kind of followed that trajectory. I've fallen back a little bit, but it makes a lot of sense. It's not overboard, but it's just a way to ingest the medicine, check in with yourself. Every time you go into these experiences, it's going to bring up everything that's present in your current reality and some, and even the stuff you don't even know of yet, or you've buried so much that you forgot about it. But the point is to bring everything to the surface and give you a time frame and a clarity of mind to look at this stuff and to witness it without judgment, and just head on. Take it all head on. And you're also in a very sensitive, open state, you're entering different realms and whatnot, so there's other sorts of inputs that are coming through that can help with this information from your daily life that's coming up. And it also can actually make the experience more enjoyable and fun and joyful, because it can awaken parts of you that kind of keep that from you in your everyday life, that keep you rigid like a 2x4 and boxed in and shit like that, It really can allow the fluidity of energy just to pour through your body and actually awaken it. you might feel dormant until you take some psychedelics and it awakens the energy.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, we want to be boxed in. Some people feel safe when they're boxed in, and that's where a lot of the backlash against this stuff, the criminalization of these substances and things, like there's some societal there's some societal pressure to be boxed in, to be very conforming to one pattern, and a lot of people have internalized that in their daily routines, but it's a great way to break out of that, and you feel so much life when you get out of that pattern. I think making this a part of your life.
Yeah.
Just,
it's like you weren't thinking about tomorrow or the future at all. It's purely present moment awareness. It drags you into it to a new level, and that opens so many doors.
Yeah, I'm still riding that. I'm still riding that present moment awareness that was gained in there. It's not something that you just pick up and you put down. When you access that present moment awareness, you can't unsee that. You know what it feels like to be in the present moment. I mean, you remember what happens in these experiences. It's not like you have this beautiful experience. That's why we're talking about it, because it's something that's the value of it. You can come back to it right now in our waking life. We can remember what it feels like to be in the present. And once you access that, that's the value of it. You can remember that right now, that be in the present and make that a part of your life. Don't just wait until you're taking mushrooms to be in the present moment. Yeah. That's why you take it every year.
The presence that comes through on mushrooms or psychedelics is different than meditation.
Yes.
It's a different sort of presence. Like, taking psychedelics is a very fiery path. It gets you there quick, and almost like you didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
And you could say it's almost artificial or something. I don't necessarily believe that, but some people do. But yeah, it's a different sense of awareness, usually, or present moment awareness. With meditation and other means, without any sort of substances, it tends to be a very calming, like neutral sort of state. Unwavering, balanced, just calm and steady. With the psychedelics, from my own experience, it's like that state with, I don't know, like caffeine injected into it or something. There's a surge of like awakened energy that rises. So much emotion that's alive in the psychedelic experience, holding that present moment awareness combined.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, from my perspective, it's a tool for awakening and for enriching your experience of existence in this realm where we find ourselves. And that being said, it's like any tool, it's not a one-stop shop. I don't believe that it's something that can transform somebody who does not do anything else to transform themselves. You can't just have terrible relationships and do a job that you hate and live your life within a very small box and then go take psychedelics and all of a sudden your life is profoundly better and you're all of a sudden like enlightened or something. It's not a shortcut to enlightenment or happiness or fulfillment. It's on the contrary, just like we were talking, I've heard some people say they have really bad experiences on psychedelics, and maybe that's because they're living in quite a unfulfilling way and they're not seeking development. So I think it's you already want to have a transformation, a mindset that's geared toward transforming.
Exactly, that's what I was going to tap on. Is like, we have bad experiences in life in general without psychedelics. We don't say, well, some people might say life is, bad, but we don't just kind of blanketly state that life is just terrible. Just because you have a bad experience in life, you don't say, oh, fuck life, I'm done with this shit. I mean, that some people do get to that state, but it's irrational to say that for everybody. You know, not everyone's going to have bad experiences in life. It's more about our outlooks and our perspectives on when those bad experiences do occur, how we meet them and move through them. And psychedelics is no different. When you have a bad experience, whatever you want to say bad is bad, it's just not joyful and happy. You know, it might feel shitty.
Yeah, or if you have a really heavy expectation and then it doesn't match your expectation, then you call that bad.
Yeah, exactly. So that can be paralleled with so much in life, and it's only getting blamed on because you're consuming something. It's like I think it's kind of silly, because there's also people who have good experiences. Just like anything else in life, there's a spectrum. So we have to understand what that spectrum actually is and means, rather than highlight only the good, because that's not the world we live in. Not only good things happen here.
Yes. Yeah. To take psychedelics out of context and then take a bad experience and say that they're bad, right? It's just a massive out of context perspective.
Yeah. I mean, like you were saying, it takes inner work. It takes work outside of the experience itself to develop a relationship, have meaningful experiences with this stuff, and to actually help transform your life. So, yeah, you can't just expect to be taking these things and have your whole world flip on the side of its head.
No. Yeah, it might feel like that for an hour, then you're going to come back to reality and going to have the same challenges. So it's it's got to be something that's woven into your daily life, your experience. This is just part of that, part of a symphony of different instruments that are played that make up our lives.
Yeah, it's like a level up the chain of mind-altering substances. You know, you have like alcohol at the bottom, and there's coffee's there. All these things that change our state of being. Everyone in this world has actually engaged with at least one of them in their lifetime, and probably on a yearly, weekly, monthly basis. We all do it. Even sugar, like you know, all this stuff changes just on varying levels of degrees. You know, it's around us. It's everywhere.
Yeah, what is a mind-altering substance? Food changes your mind. It changes the state that you're in. If you fast for a while, we can say fasting is a mind-altering activity, or a mind-altering lack of substance. And then when you put food back in your body, then you're experiencing an altered state compared to what you were. We're always going through altered states.
Exactly. Yeah. We're always going through altered states. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we're consuming.
This is just a different way, just a different modality of accessing an altered state.
Just a more intense one.
Yeah.
So it's like certain things bring us really down to earth. Certain things bring us very high up into the heavens, the spirit realms.
It's all part of the ride. It's all valid. It's as deep as you want to take it. And I think a lot of subjective things happen when you're on that ride that can be difficult to communicate. And some people say, well, there's no objective, there's no provable metrics for some of these experiences that people have. So a lot of it gets downplayed by materialism and saying that, oh, you're just getting whacked out and you need to come back to earth and you need to get back to real experience. Real experience is often subjective. That doesn't make it, just because it's totally subjective does not make it invalid.
Yeah. Very true. So what else, anything else you want to tap on from the experience that you want to like iron out, that you want to distill into the memory bank of your brain?
I'll definitely be back to do it again. This is definitely going to be an ongoing relationship. You and I will do it again. Man, the setting is just so powerful. Getting out in the woods and in a cabin. So grateful for that.
Yeah. Get out. Get away from people. Get away from a lot of hustle and bustle. I'm not saying you can't do it there, but
Yeah,
especially if it's your first time.
yes, I recommend not doing it in your house. Go somewhere that's unfamiliar and somewhere that's in nature. Somewhere that's surrounded by nature. And the woods is a great place.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the woods. And yeah, doing it somewhere unfamiliar actually can be very helpful, because doing it somewhere familiar can be triggering, and it can be triggering for the subconscious.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to go into experience on that, but it was helpful for me. It was very, very profound experience being in this new, unfamiliar place out in nature, and having this journey was super profound. But I'll also experiment with probably doing it in my own, where I'm very familiar in my own place at some point, and I can report on that experience when that happens.
Yeah. Cool, man. Happy to have gone on the journey with you.
Yes, yeah, beautiful, man. Anything else you want to share?
No, it was a great experience for me. The music was
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
I was just grooving to the music. Happy to be there with you. Definitely, it's a reflection point for me to check in with all my relationships in life. You know, what all the experiences that have led me to where I currently am in that moment on the journey. And it tends to bring me pretty damn high. So like, usually there's a dip off at the end of these experiences, or at least there has been recently. So that's something I want to explore, as to how to mellow things out in the transition out of the trip. Something to keep in mind, I guess, is turn into a little bit of advice for people that are exploring psychedelics. But when you transition out, it's like anything else in life, it needs to be balanced. So if you enter a very high state of being, the balancing act is going to be to bring you lower, to bring the energy back down, to find the balance again, the homeostasis. So that tends to be what happens for me. I'm already a very polar opposite spectrum kind of dude, so it gets shown through these experiences. And the next day, and on any kind of drugs,
Yeah.
what you want to call it substances, there's usually the day following any sort of intense experience, there's a balancing act that happens, you know, or with mini withdrawal coming down. So yeah, that happened for me, and you know, pack that in with no sleep, and yeah, it messes you up a little bit. It's breaking the patterns. So yeah, but no, I had an awesome experience. The music was fucking banger, and listen to some damn good music when you're on these things, because
Yeah, highly recommend.
much.
Man.
Create it.
Yeah, get that speaker out, get that music flowing through the space, and yeah, move around. Another piece of advice: go to different areas of where you're at. It was raining outside for us, so a lot of us was moving around the cabin, going outside on the porch. Would have definitely gone for a walk out there in the woods if it was if there wasn't a thunderstorm going on.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is this tends to bring out the childlike self, the explorative self, you know, the curious self, in a loving way. And I think that's a beautiful thing to keep in your life as you get older too, to keep that part of yourself alive.
Got to.
It's so important, and it's, you know, obviously it's going to be different when you're older. If you have kids or whatever, you have to uphold a certain level of maturity nowadays. But the curious nature of being a child is the most important to me.
Yeah, we can't let that go, no matter what. I think it'll make us better parents to keep the inner child alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, being able to play with children, but maintain the structure of being the elder, you know.
Yeah, it's part of the art.
Yeah.
It's part of the art of growing up.
Yeah. This is art.
Awesome, man. Such a great experience. Glad we got to sit down in person and have our first episode together, man. And right after this journey, what a
Shout
blessing.
out to the Austrians.
Yeah, our #1 viewers.
All right, man. We will have to do this again very soon.
Yes, we will. Peace out.